All right, it is February 4th, 2025. Welcome to Heart Centered Marketing. My name is Joey Ragona, and today I am super excited to share with you a little bit more about my UnFunnel method, moving away from traditional funnels, which I've been doing for the last, I don't know, since 2019. So, what is that, 6 years, something like that, helping you simplify everything that you're doing in your online business. And when it comes to simplification, the funnel area is probably one of the most exciting places to strip away all of the complexity. And this is where I love to share this stuff with you. So I'm going to draw out some things with you and share some notes that I've taken about, bringing this to life over the last 6 years with clients inside of Atlas, inside of Academy, and and live on even Kajabi for the last 3 years, doing this every single first Friday of the month, which is coming up actually this Friday with Kajabi. I talk a little bit about the UnFunnel, but not in this depth. So if you're here with me, let me know with hashtag live, hashtag replay. I don't see any of the comments right now on Facebook or the Facebook group, if you were in the Facebook group, because I'm going to be on my iPad, and that's usually where I monitor the stuff. Maybe I'll connect with my phone, but if you're on another channel, YouTube, LinkedIn, on my other channels in Facebook, I should be able to see the comments coming through. I just want to make sure that I do have that comment window up. Let me just see here. I don't. Okay, so there, I can put the comment window back up there and I can see it. So let me do this. Let me move over and put some notes here, because I do want to make sure that I'm covering a few things. I've been asked this over and over and over again about simplifying and what traditional funnels, what the difference between an unfunnel is, and all that stuff. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. All right, so my fancy old tech here, and we're going to go into this here. So what I want to talk about today is the UnFunnel method. And that's a TM, by the way. The UnFunnel method. And the first thing that I want to share with you is a couple of ideas or a couple of ways that traditional funnels are built. These are not the only ways, but these are the ways that are a lot of standard stuff. This is the way that I've been building. Some of them might, these ideas might seem overly complex, or there's a lot of steps to them, but that's the point. Okay. So the first thing that we do usually in traditional funnels is we have an opt-in page right here. And that leads to a thank you page. And then it goes to, in my case, because I like to do a lot of confirmation and make sure that my list is a confirmed list. So a confirmation email. Okay. And then that goes to another email. Right? The, I guess the download email. So you can skip, you don't have to have, this step here, but just in case, I want to just share with you. And then the download email goes to the download page, in my case. And again, this download page is optional. And I had a lot of these inside of my more complex stuff. And I'll tell you why in a second, why there was a download page. But sometimes you can just have a download directly from this email here. Okay. Oops. Let me put that back here. These are optional. And let me just put that up here. Just so we know what's going on here. Optional. And then a whole bunch of sales emails. And that's usually what happens in one funnel. Okay, that's like one idea of a funnel. And then, so actually, whoops, what I need to do is I want to make sure that these are not, oops. I want to make sure that these are not labeled as a UnFunnel because these are not. These are down here, and these are traditional. Traditional funnels. Okay. And let's just put that back here like this. And we'll put idea number 1. Let me move this up. And then let's say, actually, let me save some time. And let me just grab this again. And copy this guy. And put it down here. Really cool, right? And what we're going to do now is we're going to move some stuff over. So I'll do get rid of this. Get rid of that. And let's break some stuff up right about here and just kind of move it over a little bit. Okay. And in this case, what will happen is the opt-in will happen. Then it'll go to an upsell, downsell, right? And then to the thank you page, the regular thank you page. And then it'll go to the confirmation email if you want to, like I said, and it'll go to the email. Let me put my highlighter here, right here. So it might go, it'll go to a download page, an email download and a download page. Now, the reason why in this case that I have a download page in here, and you might look at that and say, well, I don't have that page, is because I was absolutely crazy because I wanted to track every single page. So all of the pages that I had were being tracked by the analytics, right? So I wanted to know how many people are landing on each of these pages, where are they dropping off, all that stuff. So this created so much back end stuff. It was insane. And I'm not saying this doesn't work, right? When anything that I'm talking about here, if you're doing it and it works for you, fantastic. But the people that I work with are very overwhelmed with a lot of stuff going on, and they just want simplicity. Exactly what I wanted back then, because I did all of this and more for 3 years straight. And it was just tracking, and nothing really was selling. And people are being forced through this linear funnel. They're all like this linear funnel, right? And what I'm finding is that people have different ways that they're engaging. And we'll talk a lot about that and why the UnFunnel method works. And then there's one more. So let's just draw up another one here, which is kind of the same, but I may as well put it here, and I'll just drop it in here again. Let's paste that same image. And then what I'll do is, instead of the opt-in here and confirmation email, this is going to be, let's get rid of this guy. And this is for a webinar. So you got the registration page here, and then you got the webinar, right? And again, I'm not saying the webinars don't work and all that, but this is like a traditional funnel because mainly it is all about this, right? How many sales emails can I send out? And all these people are going through this, and all you're doing is sending sales emails. And this is like, it's very, like I said, it's very linear. So this one's here is a webinar. Oops, webinar. All right. Okay, so that it's very linear, and people are just going through this process like they're in a cattle chute or something. And the expectation is, let's get some sales out of this. Nothing wrong with making sales, by the way. Now let's look at the UnFunnel method. All right, let's do the same thing. Let's move up here. And you'll understand why I did the webinar in a second. So let me paste this image again. And I want to make some adjustments here for the UnFunnel method, okay? And by the way, if you're watching live, let me know with the hashtag live or hashtag replay. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, let me know. Unfortunately, I can't see any of the ones that in the Facebook group if you're watching in my Facebook group, but I'll get to them later. But if you're on any other channel, I should be able to see them pop up here on my screen. So just to let you know, if you are typing anything into the comments inside the Facebook group, I'm not ignoring you. I just can't see them because I'm using my iPad now, which is where I usually monitor all the stuff. Okay, so let me actually pull this down so you can see that. And I'll move this up a little bit. Okay. So let's just say that you have a gift. And this here, let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Confirmation. And the download page would be the gift, right? I call it a gift. So this here is the gift. Now this could be either a page, okay, it could be a page, or it could be a download, like a download link. Download link, all right? And what happens is, let's just say that, let's get rid of that. Let's just say that we're having like this. Let's say that I said to you, okay, I have a gift for you, or I have a checklist for you. And instead of you going through this whole thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the direct link right to here. Right to here. I'm going to give you this direct link. And so I'm eliminating all of these things, right? I'm eliminating all of these pieces. Okay, so this is one way, and I'm not saying this is the only way, but this is one way to, and by the way, let me get rid of this other guy, which is there's no sales emails coming in. You're thinking, okay, well, Joey, you're crazy. Like, why would you do this? Why are you giving all this stuff away? And why aren't you doing any sales emails? And I'm going to mark this down just so my ADD brain doesn't forget this. Why no sales emails? Okay, and I will get to that in a second. So you're going to go from, people watching. Oops, let me do a better color because this is a good thing. Let's say people are watching or they reach out to you. They watch. Actually, no. Yeah, you can do that. Watch video. Message you. etc. Okay. They reach out, and boom, it goes right to the gift, right to the page, right to the download. And this removes all the complexity. This removes everything for building these things out. And it's just, here's the link. Here's the download link. That's one way. All right. Now I'm going to come back to this, but I want to share with you the other piece here. Come on, paste the image. All right. This is not the webinar, so I'm going to change this. Let me do some fancy writing here. Okay. And then get rid of that. Yeah, the confirmation email is still going to be there. This is going to be here. This guy is not going to be here. Actually, oops, I want to keep that. Get rid of this guy and this one. And these are registrations. And this is the webinar. Okay, webinar. And so this way, this will go straight to here. This way, what you can do is you can still do webinars. And what I like to do sometimes is instead of, again, going through all of this stuff, because I've seen so many times, and especially over the last year, maybe 2 years, that people are complaining about the webinar attendance rates going down and the webinar conversions rates going down. And it's because everybody is doing webinars like this, and their expectations might be a little bit high because what they've been sold before. Okay. So webinar rates were never really that great anyway, but they were better than they are now. So in other words, they're getting a lot of tire kickers on their lists. People that are never going to buy. They have sometimes astronomical opt-ins, all these people, and they're wondering, why am I not selling? Well, it's because maybe they're talking to the wrong people. There's a million reasons why this could happen, but the way that I get rid of all of this complexity and not worry about the webinar is I don't do maybe the registration. I don't do a thank you page. I don't do any. Well, the confirmation email should go up back actually, so that's gonna. Oops. That's going to happen because that's direct. It'll happen anyway from Zoom or whatever you're using, right? So there's a confirmation email when they register. So they do have to register actually. I'm sorry. You know what? I see. I'm still in standard funnel mode in this example. There is no confirmation email because again, the people that are watching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send them directly to the webinar page. And this is a live page that they can see and they can watch the whole thing. So they're not getting registered. They're going right to the webinar page or whatever it is, and they're going right there. And then instead of me doing a sales email here, you might be wondering, okay, well, how are you going to get people opting in? Where do you get to build your list and all this? And this is where it happens after the fact. So on the webinar page, there might be right here. Let's do blue like that. Opt in here. Opt in for more. Example, okay? And this is where I build a better list, in my opinion. So see, they do this here. So they go directly, they skip all of this and they go right to here and they watch the webinar, and the people that are truly interested, and by the way, there's no sales pitch at the end of this webinar. That's what I'm completely doing. By the way, thank you for the thumbs up and all the props there. If you're on my Facebook group and asking questions, I'm sorry I can't see them because I'm using my iPad right now, which is where I usually monitor. But if you're not, you can ask a question. I can see the other ones coming from any other page. But thank you for being here live. Let me know by the way, hashtag live or hashtag replay if you are here live or on the replay. Okay, so let me go back to this. So they go right to the webinar and they watch that thing. And what this does is it will remove all of the tire kickers. It will remove people who are really never going to buy from you. And they can watch whatever they want. And you're still educating, you're still giving, because if you're in my community, if you've been watching me for the last, 6-7 years doing this stuff, and you're in my world, you know that I'm a very heart-centered person, and so is my community, and probably so are you. And so we want to give to people. And yes, we need to still make sales. We need to make a healthy business in order to survive and continue to give. And this is just one way of doing it. And then you don't have to get frustrated with all of these, doing webinars that never convert for you. So this way, you have a webinar that you do, whether it's live or even if it is recorded, then you're just giving it to them, and then after that, they can opt in to get more information. And that's where, instead of me sending sales emails, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send value emails that enhance the webinar. Okay? I'm going to send value emails. And I'm talking about real value emails, not just one or two and say, hey, hey, did you like this? Or here's an extra tip type of thing. And by the way, go buy my stuff. That's not what I'm doing. So these value emails, so they will now opt in, they'll get value emails. And this creates bond, okay? So that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to build trust and create a bond. Because in my world, people just don't trust marketers anymore. They never really did. And now, because they've been inundated with so much stuff and so many false promises, or the fact that every single funnel that I just showed you, like the traditional funnels, are all the same, they know what's going to happen. Okay, I'm going to go here, I'm going to opt into this thing, I'm going to go to this webinar, then they're going to offer something at the end, then they're going to value stack it, and they're going to drop the price, and they're going to, if I don't buy it, they're going to send me a whole bunch of emails. Like, they know exactly what's going to happen. And so what I'm doing is I'm unfunneling it. I'm saying this is not what's going to happen here. And they still may come in with that intention or that mindset. This is what's going to happen. And then when it kind of interrupts the pattern, like what's going on? There was no offer here. And even if you do a soft offer, I'm not saying never do an offer, maybe on the webinar. You could, but you can change this however you want to. So when I'm working with a client, they're like, well, I have to, it's better if I do an offer here because I can get sales off of it. It'll happen. And that can happen like automatically for you. That's fantastic. So I'm not saying never do that, but in my case, I don't really do that. So I base it everything on the trusting and the bonding. So which is over here. Where is it here? Give me back this guy. So the value emails, and I'm building trust and bond, and then they're going to be on my list. They're already on the list. On list, where it's more of a nurture with soft invites. Okay, and not all the time. Not every single email is a soft invite, but because I've given them, in this case, right? I've given the whole webinar for free. I am giving value emails that are, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 10 valuable emails. And then they might get an invite every now and then that relates back to this. So this is what UnFunnel does. And so the reason I'm doing this is because, you're being authentic with everybody about how you are wanting to offer them, and then the UnFunnel method basically has a circular thinking, because a lot of people are still caught in this web of chaos, and they're used to being in this linear path, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm taking them out of the linear path, because I understand that there are different points when people are going to engage, and sometimes they're going to engage. Let's go back to the iPad. Let's go back here for a second, and let's say that if they engage at one point and you move them into, step 1 or step 2 and so on, step 3, right? They may, for some reason, be on step 2 and they want to go back and they want to revisit step 1. And with a linear path, you're trying to push them through. And there's a lot of artificial stuff happens in traditional funnels. So this is what traditional funnels. And actually go here, and what I'll do is make a little list here and then UnFunnel. Okay. Traditional funnels, they have a lot of artificial pressure or artificial pressure. It's tactics. And the UnFunnel doesn't do that. We don't pressure people into doing something that they really don't want to do. So there's no pressure whatsoever. No pressure. And everything is true. Okay. And so I made a list that I want to share some of the lists that I made as I was preparing for today. And I want to share some of this with you. So again, this is linear and step by step. And you might think that's a good thing, but it's your step by step, which means that here's where I want them to go. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying that is a traditional funnel, and so many people are used to it that they are bouncing when they go through this kind of funnel. And the UnFunnel method is non-linear. Non-linear. It's flexible. And it's tailored for each client. Now, you might look at that and think, tailored for each client, that seems like a lot of work. And depending on what you think work is, and depending on how you want to build your business, it could be. But because I am an advocate of like premium pricing, and we can talk about premium pricing and why it's there too. It's not just because of the money. It's because you're not dealing with a lot of people, and you don't need a lot of people in order to build a really, really healthy business. And that is why I love, the nonlinear and the tailored for each client, because I can have conversations with that person or those people, and sooner or later, some of them might turn into clients. That's the reason why I do it. With why the nonlinear thing works. What else? The goal is push people through. Push people quickly through. And this one, the goal, let me just do these lines. What a really bad drawing here. So the goal here is to nurture long-term relationships. And the customer journey here, let me get rid of this. Customer journey, let's do that, is usually one size fits all. And then there's strong calls to action, strong CTAs. And in the UnFunnel method, there is personal dynamic paths, which is what I talked about before. You can go back and people they may go through a couple of times your video or step 1 or step 2 or whatever it is in your process, and they may need to watch that 20 times before they do anything to move on to what you believe is step number 2. And if they're like me, which is someone who needs bits and pieces of information to fill in the gaps, to fill in the puzzle pieces, then I might not need step number 2 or 3. I might need step number 4. So I want to be able to choose my own path and put together the pieces in my own brain, and then get to a point where I know that I need this person because they've not only given me stuff they haven't asked for anything really in return. They continue to give me value, and then I'm building trust and bond with that person, and then I'll reach out to them, and I already know that I want to buy because now they've proven themselves. They've shown their work to me, and they've moved me along the pathway without really asking for anything, especially no pressure. And this is why the UnFunnel works for heart-centered people like us who do not want to do pressure sales or anything like that. And this is why when people come to me, they are usually pre-sold. And most of the time, 80%, 85%, I don't even know who they are until they show up on the message or chat or an email. And like, hey, I'm ready to buy Atlas, or I want to get into Academy. And I'm like, where did you come from? And yeah, I could maybe track back to my list or something, but it's because of this process, because the process does all the work up front without you really realizing it. And then by the time you get on a sales call, if you want to call it that, it's super, super easy because there is no sale, because they've been pre-selling themselves all the way through. So that is a little bit of a take on the UnFunnel method. Maybe I will update this or do a part 2 if you want a little bit of part 2. If you have any questions, I'll go back and see if there are any questions in the comments that I can't see right now, and then I'll maybe do another part of this. But I'd love to know what you think of this. If you're watching on the replay now, in the hashtag replay, let me know what you think of it, and I will see you next Tuesday for another heart-centered marketing. Take care. Bye.